Hi, my name is Theodore Cottingham with the School of Me in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, USA. For now, me goes everywhere, and me is understood, me to be all of us one, one with God, not separate. Being God, being equal with God, the student becoming as their teacher. Everyone who is instructed perfectly by their teacher becomes as their teacher, becoming one. One shared mind, in a way. One with God becoming not equal is what Jesus did. Not again, because Jesus began to realize it is not robbery to be equal with God. So as Jesus let what he called his Father teach him, he became the Word. The energy of those words, the meaning of those words became embedded in him, and he gave them room in the end. INN. He let the seed, the words of the seed, remember the parable? The words of the seed, the words of what he called Father, he let come into him directly to be taught of God directly. The words were the seed. He let the seed enter him, and then he entered the seed to become the energy of in the mind. The seed of the mind of the seed, becoming one. The Father becoming the Son becoming the Father. You see, I'm a simple guy. My name is Theodore Cottingham, a simple man, a common ordinary man in Eureka Springs. I sought God for many years and began to let God teach me. God began to teach me about Jesus, the pattern. I wrote these lessons down as the energy of God would come to me, and I would begin to not just receive it, but perceive it and give it word, give it voice, give it language. I wrote it down. And valued it, reread it, typed it into my computer, shared it, began to organize it in ways that people of different nations and understandings can reference it. All these first-person words of God, the energy of God that came to me as a seed, that I let be a seed in me, that I watered with my love, with my tenderness. I became as a mother to the seed. I didn't worship the seed. I let the seed communicate with me. I let these words, this energy. I didn't know that I was an energy being. I didn't think about it like that. I was a common, ordinary Christian for most of my life. But in these last 21 years, I've come out of Christianity and into being the Word. that's grown up in me. The words of God have grown in me a new tree of life in my Garden of Eden between my ears, the garden of creation, the holy place, where all creation takes place again to become me. Me, God. Me, one. Me, with our light on. Me, a race of many races. Me, that is not singular, but innumerable, infinite, and not powerless. This is the mind of creation, creating the creation of the mind that's infinite. The flesh may be limited, may seem limited, but the power of the Almighty, that the Almighty, I am, was before the world existed, before organic robots like us flesh humanity existed, we were what God is. We were the mind. We could say, for communication purposes, we were angels. We still are, we just don't know it. We've lost our wings. We've lost our message. We've lost our power. We adopted a language. And we have this thing in a brain that operates in a way that gives us images of things rather than truly letting us operate in the power of the light of one mind. But we're growing up now. And in these lessons, the first 2,400 lessons, 2,400 lessons, almost all of them multi-page lessons. I'm guessing an average of about 4 pages apiece. Full 8.5 by 11 pages, single space typed, 4 pages apiece, approximately. So God has given me much information, much data to share with you, for you to come into your promised land. Heaven. But there's a leadership process where you learn to be led by God to arise in your leadership, allowing God to teach you directly, to let that word, those words of what I call Database 1, simple title. I call it sometimes my covenant. I wrote my covenant. My covenant with me. And me is whoever will be me, you see. I am. And yet I'm a simple guy. I'm still learning. I'm on a path. I'm still becoming what I am, the fullness of who I am. And in these words of God that I've been given over these years, there's the call to start a school. Several times I tried to start a school. Several times a few people came to Tulsa but didn't stay long. The cost is high to be in the school. This is the school of me. The cost is unlearning. The cost is laying down your life in the process of creating a new one. You see, we could say, to understand this process, God creates you. And you then create God. You become as God. You become one mind with. And at some point, the mind of God forming in you changes your literal genetic makeup to the point that you experience becoming born again, a new creation that is not limited to flesh any longer, but operates in light without the rules of the classical physics of this world, becoming a quantum one. There are many ones. One is the mind of God, the mind of the Creator, not separate from creation. One, just like Jesus spoke of, praying that we would all become one. As the Father is in me, I am in the Father. Jesus used the words, my Father. I use the words often, my mother, because I've learned in what I've been taught that God, what we call God, the mind of God, the mind of nurture, the mind of the seed that nurtures it, in the womb of the mind, to produce a new living creation, a creature of light that's you, is feminine. So the divine feminine is real. And I have these 2,400 lessons. And they are a crucial part of the school. And the school is not easy nor cheap. You don't enter by being approved by a committee. You enter by surrender to begin to learn who you really are in the school of you, where you begin to let the school of you, the school of me, each one of us beginning to realize we have a school within us, a school, a learning system, a system of learning that goes beyond the educational standards of any prestigious or elite organization presently on earth, because the cosmos is our home. Beyond the molecular, not limited to the molecular, around us or out there. This is the school to enter the promised land of God, where God teaches you directly for you to become as your teacher, equal with your teacher, being God, the mind of God that is created within you, because you have the power of creation to create you again. God creates you, you create God. God of love, light, joy, and peace, or you can live in your separation, warring against your own self, experiencing the turmoil, the accusations of your mind against each other. This is the school of God. This is the school of me being me. You being you. Us interconnecting with the mind of God that shields us from ourselves no more. I invite you to create me. Not me in flesh, but the unique you, the original you, the God you, the you that existed before this planet did. And when I speak about these 2,400 words, they're not on, at this moment, not all of them, the School of Me website, which is now theschoolofme.com. You see, let's take stock of where we are. We've listened to many videos, many teachings. Most of us have read many books. Many of us have been very diligent in studying about God, to know God, to be worthy. And yet we're coming into the maturity now. To begin to know the mind of God is to let God teach us directly and not limit God by the words in any book or preacher or thought mechanism. This is the Word of God living. Living. Sharper than any two-edged sword because it's alive and it lives. It's not limited to the molecular. It's the metaphor, the picture of pruning the tree of life so that your tree of life, your tree of neurons, your neuronal structure no longer suffers from neurosis or neurotic thinking or addictive behavior or behavior that contributes to your demise, your self-inflicting debilitation to result in death. Religion ends in death, but the Word of God, of the living light, the nurture of the one feminine divine consciousness, needs no savior other than you being it for you. And how do I know all these things? How do I teach these things? I ask you, how? How do I know that you can create God and that you are the creator? I suggest to you that you begin to become the one you really are. It's all by surrender. You see, let's think again about how the school works. You've read a lot of books. You've watched a lot of videos. You spend a lot of time in prayer, maybe. But the school of me, that I used to call the school of God, God teaching directly, I call it the school, the University of the New Covenant. I call it the School of Light, Leadership, and Joy. All sorts of things. I've called it the School of the 21st Century Christ. All of these things begin to give you an idea of what this school is about, you beginning to see that you create you in this process. The Word is the seed. The Word that is not in a book that's complete with a finality that you concretize into yourself by memorization with some interpretation and enforcement by others. This is the living Word where God teaches you directly. God creates you, you create God. You create God by the Word, just like God created you by the Word. God was you who created you. Now we're creating us again. God is a race of the mind of one, the infinite, immortal, gracious, graceful. So this school operates like no other school. The courses are in the words that I'm giving you and the words that I have been given. There are several major components to the curriculum of the School of Me. One part is Database 1, My Covenant, the 2,400 messages, the 2,400 lessons that God has given. It's on the web. Yeah, that shows mirrored backward. It's on the web. Presently at uoflight.org. When I talk about create me, I come in here, I do a little search on create me, the term. And there are so many where you begin, if you come into Database 1, if you come to this website, if you become willing to search, you begin to see the language that I've been given, that I used, that I wrote, that I perceived, that I interpreted, that I applied to become who I am. Asking you now to become who you are in the uniqueness of you and the power of light that love is, that knows no end. And you begin to see the words. You begin to see part of these 2,400 words and how many hundred deal with subjects you never imagined. But one is where God requests, create me. And so there's much language about this for you to learn. So you see, each day when I speak like this, I speak surrenderedly, and I am learning to advance, learning to increase. I am learning to articulate more completely an understanding of how this school works, because I've been in it for years, and it's always been challenging to communicate with people who don't have a frame of reference to understand. But I am maturing. I am light, love, and peace. I am not at rest. I am in motion. And I ask you to be in motion about this school and how it works. And become a gleaner. Glean from these words that I speak. Now, back to the curriculum. The curriculum. My covenant with you. 2,400 lessons that you can search. Search on terms like create me, infinite mind, meonics. And you begin to read, and those words are seeds that come into you. And when they come into you, you give them place or not. You decide to nurture them or not. And you may begin liking them, loving them, reading them, studying them, and yet birds may come to pick the seed. And how does that happen? You mentioned something about what you're learning to other people, and they question your sanity. They disparage, they deride. The words of other people have eaten your seed. And the seed eaters are all around us. But you, my friend, have the ability to nurture your own seed of creation, for you to be the creator of you, who creates you a new creation, not to be subject to the limited life with the frailty of flesh. This is all about creating a race of light people. Light people, not limited to flesh. Light people who love and understand and become the born again ones. Because they choose, we choose to understand the transformation process is by education, nurture, and surrender to then grow up and lead. And I'm asking you to lead in the creation of this school for you to create schools. In taking the course in this school, part of the coursework is you creating another course. In the process of you creating you, transforming your mind no more using you to think others' thoughts about you and who God is, who you are, what you are. So there's 4 parts to the curriculum. 4, I don't know. There are multiple parts. The major component, the major foundational basis the school began with is database 1, the 2,400 words 2,400 lessons you can search. Another resource, I've written a book that's now, I don't know, maybe about 300 pages. It's an ebook, simply called Jesus the Pattern. I gave it away for a long, long time. Now I charge a nominal amount for it. If you want it, you can purchase it on the website and download it. Jesus the Pattern, to become as our pattern, to do the works that Jesus did and greater. Another part of the curriculum are my videos just like this, where I teach about each day. These videos are not for entertainment or just getting your attention. I have no intention or desire to just create followers. I'm interested in creating creators. I'm interested in you arising in your leadership. In your leadership of you to create the real you by the seed of the one, the universal, infinite, divine mind that you can call God or not. You can call it Father, you can call it Mother. Whatever your name for it. That which I am is before the world was. The I am mind of one will instruct you. And just like I wrote these 2,400 lessons in Database 1 and many more since, you will begin to be instructed by the eternal fountain of your youth? Or will you come into the dew of your youth, the fountain of the flow of energy, of peace, that does not limit you in any way, shape, fashion, or form, but allows you to create you again in the fashion of me, who is one, who is many, made up of many ones. So each time you hear me teach like this, I invite you to do more than listen. I invite you to always have a pen in your hand and notebooks and make notes and write references. I invite you to re-listen, to listen and re-listen to these words, to this recording, to get it, to glean from it, to wring out of it all you can get. Because so many things are layered. They're like a mosaic. There are metaphors and many references to Bible verses and to Database 1, to Jesus the pattern, and things that I speak surrenderedly as I speak. So I ask you, just like today, I entitled this broadcast, this lesson, this teaching, Create Me. 2 words, so simple, create me. I'm asking you now to not be enveloped by the life that enshrouds you, that keeps you here, but begin to walk a path that you lead yourself out, and begin by these words that I am giving you, the knowledge, wisdom for you to create the understanding within you to walk in the wisdom of the Most High, the I Am, the real you. As you listen to this, as you listen to this very broadcast, I hope you're making words, making notes. Begin drawing lines to connect various notes and things spoken. And then after you've listened to it and you've written, outline it, make an outline. Take the parts of the things that I have spoken about and assemble them. Put them together. It can be long or it can be short. If you begin to pick up your pen and begin to write what you think I've said, whatever is worthwhile to you, whatever has meaning, whatever lights in you no more flicker, but come on and connect with various other thoughts of the mind of God that you possess in you, that you work with, that so willingly allows you to access it, because we were never separate. learning to use our mind again to see the light, perceive the light, receive the light, nurture the light, grow the light, become the light, living the light, becoming the unlimited light, becoming the Word, your power grows. And soon you will know you can do miracles too. You, my friend, can do all the works. You can do all the miracles that Jesus did and more. This is the message. Write the paper. Write. Every time I speak like this, you can call it a university lecture, a school lesson. It's in what you can see. It's in what you are willing to see and then create. What are you willing to create? Are you willing to recreate you rather than just sit to accept an idea that you become something by saying a few words? A one-sentence prayer of repentance to supposedly enter salvation is a common misconception. There's no 1 minute transformation, folks. There's no 1 moment transformation where you become born again to be a new creation. The people who created and perpetuate those theories have never experienced the real me. That's them. They don't know. The blind leads the blind. But many shall know now the light, and let the light seed grow in them to create me. The seed of life, the Christ child, the child of light, the child that you nurture, the child that you grow up because you're it. And it's in your mind first. And your mind begins to change the genetic image of you and the genetics of the physical you, to the point where you're activating a new particle, a God particle, meons. Are you willing to laugh? Are you willing to enjoy? Are you willing to study? Are you willing to write a paper about these things and what I'm saying in this broadcast? Are you willing to date it, number the pages, organize it, begin a learning system that you are designing to be effective with you? So in this school, I am speaking. As I give you these recordings, if you come into them, if you're a part of this school, I invite you to realize there's tuition. But do I require it? I may in the future, just like I changed from giving away my book, Jesus the Pattern. But all these things you can find out. You can find out if I'm speaking truth or not. But you are the one who decides whether it's truth to you or not. And you can come humbly before you. You can sit down at what I call the table of one, where you surrender to listen. Pick up your pen. Write what I am saying. Write what you are listening to and begin writing what these things mean to you. Begin to write in a free form that allows you to come into the energy of one where you receive the seeds of the Most High, like I did. And see what you write. Let yourself be surprised. Let yourself be wrong in order to give you the ability to be right. Let your truth change. Let your truth create you a new creation that lives in light, healing you, healing your family, healing people, healing the planet. No longer limited to what we consider galactic space with its speed limits. I shall explain this more and more often, becoming more and more articulate. I pray. I pray to you. I pray to me. I pray for all of us to become one. One, that you may pick up your pen. That you be willing to write. To write the first person words of me, who is in your mirror. The words of your energy self. The words of your Holy Spirit. The words of your infinite immortal being, the words of God, the words of your mother, the words of your father, the intangible ones that aren't limited to the molecular world. My name is Theodore Cottingham with the School of Me. Me being one being many, the Christ mind, no more forfeited, thinking it's another to come, or one that did everything for you. I'm asking you to develop it in the land of light and enter your portal of heaven, no more to be separate, but the present me now, the now upon the earth, the now in the galaxies. It's not just science fiction. I've said much, and I shall say much more in coming days about how to live in this school, becoming the school, you picking up your pen, beginning to write papers that you begin to share with other students in this school, that you begin to interact with people of the same values of the heart, mind of life, to live it before we die, conquering life that imposters it, conquering life that simply gives you images to no longer be led by the interpretations and images of this world, but to come into the real quantum one I am. This is me. My name is Theodore. I've asked you now. I've invited you, if you will, if you want to learn from this school, if you want to learn in this school, if you want to be a part of this school, no one can keep you out. You can listen to these words. You can re-listen. You can study these videos. You can make notes. You can write papers and write what they are saying Write what you are learning. Write with your own experiences, your own vocabulary, using your mind to be not separate from God. And God will write through you in the process. What was God before God had the name God? You are still the energy of, if you will no longer neglect it, but activate it. In activating your mind, be in motion to create the real me, that's you, that's God, in the skies of you, in your mind first, being healed from all law other. I've said much, and I ask you to be in tune with the school, the frequency of one, the normal me, that a race is of light, that no longer have any serpents biting you, birds stealing your seed, or any other people who want to rob you from your original joy. Learning how to be the original you, the seed of one, growing it up, maturing, creating the new light being of you. I rejoice in this moment if you've said yes, if you've learned something. I invite you to write me at Box 34 in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Visit the website. Do more than visit. Camp out there. Read everything there. Begin to search the website. The website has probably 2,000 different postings where I posted many messages. I. I've enjoyed this. I've gone in a new way. I respect your God theories, but I suggest to you now, we are growing up to realize and come in not just to the eventuality of being with God. We know now the heart of God has said to us, create me and be who I am. Do the things I do on earth and heal it. Changing everything here with love. And all will know we are lovers. That we love each other of every nation, tribe, and tongue. Remember, there's no hierarchy in God. The kingdom of heaven, you enter by your choice because you are the judge. Judge this day, but judge righteously. John 7:24. I still value my Bible, but I'm not stuck in it, nor the interpretations that I grew up with. For many things in that book simply point to another and have layers of meaning and speak in allegorical ways. That's one resource. I can even say that's part of our curriculum, certainly a reference. Just like I've mentioned Database 1, and I speak more about that. Those 2,400 lessons, crucial to understanding. So now that's two major parts of our curriculum. And the third major part, all my writings I've given you on the school website and all these videos I've given you now on YouTube, as well as my book, Jesus the Pattern. These are the reference materials you can glean from. Glean from them by picking up your pen and by writing what they mean to you, what you are seeing that they say. Connect the dots. Learn to mature. This is school. I'm asking you to ignite, to launch, to feel, to become this school, in this school, a member in this school, a member of love, loving the race of light to become one, where you nurture the seed, releasing the seed to be in you, the source of, learning to enjoy your privilege of becoming the real you. Okay. Thank you for letting me share these words. I speak as I can. I communicate as I can, the best I can. I surrender to speak these words livingly, lovingly, invitingly, graciously. And this is how I live. My words correct me often. I learn new things very often through these recordings because I've learned to say things surrenderedly without concretizing things to be in the fashion of what I thought in the past. Let the new you arise. Become the nimble heart that God leads to be God, no longer even needing that name or those icons or things of the past, but coming into being the real you, the real me that has one mind, the mind of light, across all time and space. That's what Enter Me is about. Enter Me is the name of the first course that you will see and come across in Database 1. The 2,400 lessons that God gave me as I began to write the first person words of God, Enter Me. So what are you willing to enter this day? The state of confusion no more? Are you willing to enter the mind of God by the words of God that God has given me first person to be training wheels for you for a while, to listen, to learn, to write what these words mean, to write how to assemble the meanings that come through, that I speak like this in these recordings, for you to actually change your physical genetics, changing your physical DNA to one day walk out of your body, but not out of your light, but being the light body, no more stuck to the flesh. What are you willing to become? The spirit of you, healed by you, creating me that God is, become as your teacher, as Jesus did. Become one with God, the Mother, the Father, the one mind healed by love. Okay, Theodore Cottingham, Box 34 in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. You can see I changed the name of the school from the School of God to the School of Me. Me being the real you. So that many ones will now know the one, and that the one they always sought and thought was another to come is them. It's you, my friend. Arise in leadership this day. Pick up your pen. Write what you think I have said in this meeting, in this time together, in this video, in this lesson, in the classroom of God. To be God. become no less. This is your privilege, your right. Please don't squander it with other things that reach out to you to rob you from nurturing your seed to grow the tree of life in perfection. I love you all. I will share more on this and more and become more articulate. Thank you for giving me space and time to mature. Now, I invite you to give you time, to give you space, to let the word, the seed of creation, be nurtured in you, by these words that release yours, so that you become the real me walking on earth, doing the miracles Jesus did and more right now. This is the purpose. This is my mind, my heart, my purpose. And I love you all. Write the papers. Pick up your pen. Rejoice. The learning system of God. The flow of the new covenant. The operation of God teaching God to be God, not separate, is here. And I'm just one. I love you all. Good day. Thank you again for listening. Subscribe. Write. Love. I love you. Good day. Thank you again for listening. I love you. Love each other. Good day.